Happy hump day, everybody. It's a camel's favorite day. Let's get back to our investigation 101 tenths on page 12. Remember yesterday we talked about frequency tables. Today we're going to be talking about a line plot. A line plot is another way that we can display data and help us to analyze it better. So a line plot is a graph that shows data values on a number line using X's or other marks. So let's talk about how we create a line plot. And a line plot, like any other graph or table, needs to have a title. So B number 1, let's take a look at what they're asking for us to do. Make 2 line plots, one for each class. Use the same scale on both line plots. So we are going to do the Chinese class together. And then when I'm finished, you will do the US one. So let's start with the title. And it'll be the same one from yesterday. So lengths of Chinese names, lengths of Chinese names. Okay. Now, how do we make a line plot? Well, I want to go back to some keywords in both the directions and the problem itself. Number 1, a line plot is a graph that shows data values on a number line. Okay, so line plot, number line. That's how I remember those two. Line plot, number line. We've all made number lines before, so that's good. Now, one important thing that they mentioned in number 1, in fact, they even italicized the word, says use the same scale on both line plots. When they say scale, they're talking about the one that we step on to weigh ourselves to see how much weight we've gained since we've been home eating all of our snacks. Of course not. The scale they're talking about would be the intervals our number lines are. So when we are comparing line plots, which we are going to do in this investigation, it's really a good idea for us to use the same scale. So I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to go back in your book. You're going to go back one page, or you're going to look at your frequency tables, and you're going to answer that question. So you'll hit the pause button, find the answer, and then hit unpause. When it comes to the US and Chinese name lengths, what is the shortest name length for either a Chinese student or an American student? And what is the longest name for an American student or a Chinese student? Hit the pause button and find your answer right now. Okay, the correct answer is the shortest name length is 4 letters, right? There were, I believe, 2 Chinese students that had 4 letters in their name. And the longest was found in the American list, where there was a student that had 17 letters. So what does that mean? That means when we create our line plots, they should all start with 4 and they should all end at 17. Now, 4 to 17, that's not a really, there's a lot of numbers there, but I don't think we necessarily need to skip or do any kind of intervals. So I'm just going to write a number line starting at 4 and going all the way to 17. So you can do this with me. And you want to skip some lines because remember, in a line plot, we're going to put some X's to show the data. So I'm going to skip, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to give myself plenty of room. So I'm going to start with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now, I might have been able to space these numbers out a little bit more, but that's okay. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay? Now, how does a line plot work? Well, we are going to use the frequency tables that we made yesterday to help us complete the lengths of Chinese names. Now, if you happen to have your frequency table accessible, it would be really nice to have it right now. So mine happens to be on the back page, right? So basically, instead of tallies, I'm going to turn these tallies into X's for every number of letters in the length of a Chinese name. So 4 letters in a Chinese name, well, there were 2 students. So above the 4, I'm going to put one X and I'm going to put another X. Notice that each of my X's takes up one line. I need to make sure all my X's are the same length to make sure that I am able to compare my data appropriately. So you've seen what I've done there. I would like you guys to, again, use your frequency table from yesterday to please finish the line plot. Again, 1x for every name. That's a length of 4, 5, 6, etc. Please press the pause button and complete. Okay, students, welcome back. Hopefully your line plot looks a lot like mine. Again, for every student who had a name length of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I simply added an X in my line plot. Okay? Now, let's go back to the investigation. It says make 2 line plots. Well, we've made 1, right? So now your job is to create a line plot for the name lengths of American, I guess you could put US if you wanted to, names. Oh, I almost put students. Oh, that's why we use a pencil, Mr. Leroy, so you can erase mistakes like that. Okay? Now remember, you are going to use the same scale. You might notice that, gosh, well, there aren't any US name lengths of 4. That's okay. You are going to have, just like you had in this line plot, some numbers that are blank, right? In the list of Chinese name lengths, 9 was the longest name we had. We know that's going to be different in the US student name lengths, right? We know that already. Okay? Once you finish that, you'll talk about how the frequency table helped you make this line plot, and the other one, I've kind of talked about that already. But here's the most important part. When you're finished with your line plot for the lengths of American students' names, you are going to take a look at those 2 line plots, and they will help you answer questions and talk about some really, really key math vocabulary terms like gaps and clusters and the shape of the data. So I hope that helped, guys. Good luck. Again, if you finish early, there's some extension problems, and we'll be back tomorrow to start investigation 1 and 2/10. Have a great day, everybody. Happy learning.